Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Rayo and Tech. I hope everyone's doing well. Today, I have another presentation regarding my CYB 610, my ethical hacking and penetration testing course. Excited to give you guys some content. Other than that, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Other than that, let's get to it. So, this is the second lab of the course, and it is talking about how we use open source intelligence in terms of using a passive recon of terms of reconnaissance for how we use it in vulnerability assessments. So, a whole bunch of jumble words. Pretty much, whenever you do a vulnerability assessment, an ethical hack, you need to make sure that you cover all avenues and have all different areas to be covered. And so the first thing starts with kind of like the whole recon behind it, understanding who your target is and then conducting it from there. The first phase is planning, which is phase 0. So, based on this lab, we were supposed to target a Fortune 500 company, and not send the attack, of course. But pretty much the main purpose of this is just to show any active vulnerabilities which may be present, and then you can use it as potential attack vectors to show how an actual attack can be conducted, using that as a disclaimer. So I chose the McDonald's Corporation since majority of people love McDonald's, so it must seem that that service must be used. Since the company is used in daily operations, it's important to understand that this company must be secure. In terms of the actual social engineering attack, I decided to use phishing as the attack type of surface. And the tool which I will be using is Metasploitable, but I'll also be using Kali Linux as well. The main tool is the Kali Linux SET, which is the software engineering, social engineering like toolkit. So SET toolkit. You'll see a couple screenshots of it as well. Phase 1, reconnaissance. In this step, this is where I use active reconnaissance, and it's present in there. In terms of looking for access, I decided to look at the public documentation of the company. On the page, if you look at this hyperlink, mcdonalds.com/about-us-leadership team, I was able to find a great amount of information regarding the main leadership team of the company. So based on that website, when I clicked on it, it took me to the current people who are in charge of the McDonald's Corporation in the executive level. So in order to execute spear phishing, you need to ensure that the person which you're trying to target has some sort of high-level credential, because from there you should be able to gain different points of access, which you may not be able to find from like an additional employee. So this is all public documentation. I was able to find that online just by searching it on Google. So this is like phase 1 of the reconnaissance phase of just understanding how to do it. Number 2 is scanning. So on this stage, what I'm doing is I'm looking for any vulnerabilities which may be active within the actual system. So we'll try to see if any potential breaches can occur. So the biggest thing which I would find here is looking to say, all right, they have a public facing website. I was able to find an email address and then decide to do the attack from there. So since I was able to find the corporate email, that's where the actual phishing email would be sent to. But you would have to use a social engineering tactic in order to try to see if you can gain access to that. So the next step, gaining access. As I mentioned earlier, we used the SET software engineering, social engineering toolkit in Kali Linux. You can see a couple screenshots from my virtual machine here. So by running my root admin on my toolkit here, you can see on the bottom side, I was able to have the actual toolkit pop up, and it shows different types of attacks of what could occur. In addition, if you look at the top right hand side, it pretty much like shows you how you can actually configure the attack. I was able to find the IP address of McDonald's just by typing in MS lookup, and I was able to find that on the actual system. And so pretty much in order to gain access to the system, what would happen is that the IP address would be conducted, and then you'll be able to conduct what the attack may be. And then from there, send out the actual phishing attack to the corporate email. So this is an example of how fast and how easy it is to get all this up and working, and like conduct the attack at the same time. So that's how an attacker would gain access in phase 3. And number 4, phase 4, the attacker would like to maintain access. So in terms of maintaining access, it's important to understand how the attacker will still kind of maintain access within the system. Usually there's different types of things which they can use, like tools. One of the biggest tools is known as a backdoor. So this is a way of gaining access even if the actual vulnerability is found, because a backdoor, what that does is that it gives the attacker a different way of still penetrating the system while still going against different types of like vulnerabilities. And so if you don't patch backdoors and actively go through different types of testings, then they can still have access to your system. And so yeah, it's another way an attacker can actually maintain access is the use of a Trojan. And Trojans are known as like potential apps which may look friendly. So let's say a calculator app was installed, has the same type of UI, but the reality is that it's a Trojan app which is taking information. A user wouldn't be able to know that that app is the same unless there's actually like a scan of a vulnerability to be able to say, hey, this app is malware, we must get rid of it. So this is how an attacker would be able to maintain access. Lastly, once the attack's done, once the information is done, once the attack has been done, what they'll try to do is actually clear out their evidence by clearing the tracks. So an attacker will attempt to leave any evidence that the digital trail was left. And so by removing any logins, by removing any logs, changing the MAC address, it becomes way harder for the device to actually be tracked within the given network. And so with these different types of actual avoidance tools, it would be harder to identify who the actual user was of the attack by also like clearing out the emails and just making sure that activity can't be identified. These are some of the best ways of how a vulnerability assessment can be used. So as we mentioned, the 5 phases we got, well, 6. We got planning, reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing the tracks. These are the best ways in order to understand how to best fight and mitigate these types of cyber attacks. So I'm very happy to just give you guys this information. If you guys have any other questions, please just give me an email, shoot me a message on the comments. Other than that, if you like the video, comment, subscribe. We're super blessed. Let's continue providing more content out there. Rayo and Tech. Stay blessed, you guys. Peace.